All right, so I want to talk about probably the most important thing that I have found for myself personally while I was in the welding career. Then when I kind of went into business for myself and where I'm at in the position I am now, specifically for business and welding, is sustainability. And I really want to focus on that is if there's anything you do in, welding, if you're trying to learn right now, if you're just getting into school, if you're just trying to break out into a career wise and just do well for yourself in welding, it's a very profitable career, in my opinion. It's always done me well. Or if you're trying to break out into the business of welding, what it really comes down to is being sustainable because it it doesn't work out like you would think most times. And when I say you, I kind of more think me. This was my experience. I had thought at one point in time that if you work really, really hard, right? 80, 100-hour work weeks, and just as much as you can all the time. Sure, I did it with videos. I was doing a video a day for like 5 months. What it does do is it does accelerate what you're trying to achieve, right? If you're trying to grow a YouTube channel, you're trying to grow your business, anything like that, there's points and times to do that, but you can't just expect what I was expecting is, yeah, I'm going to put in a bunch of hard work up front, and yeah, it's exhausting, and then I'll be able to wean down into just, kind of lean off of it. So go from 80 and 100-hour work weeks, I could, relax down to like 20-hour work weeks, right? And just kind of float. And it doesn't really work that way out of my experience. And if anyone else has experienced anything else, please throw it down in the comments. I love a good discussion. But this is just what I've found. And it even goes back farther before I even started Welder Beast as a business. It goes back to when I was an apprentice and a journeyman welder up in Alaska. There were two things that I saw. There was one, you could go up Prudhoe Bay, the northern shore there, Alaska, and do pipelining. Great money, good money. The problem is it was seasonal. So what would end up happening is if you went pipelining and you weren't as good at networking, I mean, I won't say I wasn't great at it, but I was still young. I didn't have a vast network yet of being able to go from pipeline to pipeline to pipeline. So I was staying in Alaska for the most part, and there's only one season for it. So you weld, and then you get laid off. Well, the thing about that is you get laid off with everybody else, and everybody else is looking for work. So you might go 2, 3, 4 weeks without work. And it's amazing how that big lump of sum money doesn't really average out very well. Even if you try staying on top of your finances, I've found that compared to another job it was the Alyeska pipeline. It was a maintenance gig, and the contract was for 80% of journeyman wage. So it was a reduced scale, but it was consistent all year. And what I had found that rather than trying to chase the big money and then it kind of, you end up not working or looking for work or this, that, and the third, was you would be better ahead doing something that was consistent. And consistency is sustainable. So through my experience, I had found that you need to focus on what you can sustain because momentum is much more important than the big hits. And you can see this a lot in like with influencers and stuff like that, where they're shooting for that one big hit, that one video that's going to go viral, and they think that's going to be the thing that takes them off. Well, one video going viral doesn't do what you think it would for you. I've never done it. I just have acquaintances that do it for a living. But what it is you put all this effort, you burn yourself out trying to hit this viral video. You hit it, and then it goes away. You're like, yeah, you're on a high for a little while, and then it goes down to the normal, and then you're back at equilibrium again. So they had burnt themselves out. They hit the viral, and they didn't have any energy to do anything with it. Same thing with just welding and working in that fashion, specifically in the welding business, is you cannot do something that's unsustainable, because if it's unsustainable, you'll hit a point where you can no longer go on, and then you're going to just drop the ball. And then you're trying to recover. Well, while you're in recovery, it just makes it worse because you're tapped out, you're needing to recover, but on your mind, all you're thinking is like, man, everything's going backwards. It's going the wrong way. When I had pushed this, rock, metaphorically, I moved this rock up the hill, and now it's starting to roll back down again. You feel like you need to get back behind it and push it again. So for today, this week, I guess I would say, really focus on whatever you're doing in your business, whatever service you are providing, whatever business you're starting, whatever you're learning with welding, if you're learning, whatever craft you're going into. Focus on something that's going to be sustainable, and or have a plan to pivot into something sustainable. There's always times you do have to push. That's the caveat. There are times that you will have to sustain something that seems unsustainable and then keep going. But don't do something that's going to completely burn you out and feel like you can do it all here, like work a lot here so you can work less at a later time. It doesn't really seem to work out that way. Is you can work a lot here and you go back to regular, but you're going to have to continue to sustain it. So a successful business, a successful career, and learning welding altogether is doing the everyday small tasks that will compound over time, and you keep going on with momentum. Don't let the momentum slow or stop. I experienced it with Welder Beast, so with the YouTube channel. Was doing it, but it was unsustainable for me doing a video every day. And instead of dropping down into something that was sustainable, even like a video a week, or a video every 3 days, something like that, I just completely stopped because I just had to recover. I was just burnt out trying to do business, learn business, teach it as I was going, and do a video every day. It was all just too much, so I just dropped it. And it hurt me tremendously. I probably could be a lot farther along in life, at least with the YouTube channel and stuff like that, if I had at least dropped down to something that was sustainable, because the sustainability part is the thing that would have taken me on to success. And that's it, to wrap the whole video up, knowing that success is the consistent work every day. It's not the big hits, and then you get to just glide and float off the big hits. No matter what, no matter how big you get, no matter what, how big of a job you get, how big of a contract you get, none of that matters, because eventually it'll come to an end and you have to find the next one. If you really put your life in scale, I'm only 33 years old. I've got a long, long way to go. I can't just hit one big job and be like, yep, this is it. I made all this money for the company that I work for now. It's like, look at us, everyone made a lot of money. We're all doing great. It's like, no, that job's going to end in a few months. And then there's the next one and the next one, and the next one. We got a lot of years to go. So that's my first bit of advice for this week, coming back into it, that I think is probably the most valuable, is find something that you can sustain consistently. It will be a lot slower than you want it. Trust me, I know. Things won't move as fast as you want, but once kind of like you throw a snowball down the hill, it starts getting bigger and bigger. Let it be small for a while you hone your skill, while you hone what you're trying to do, your craft, because once it starts going fast and getting rather large, you want to have that strong foundation from the consistency that you can pivot into something that's bigger and kind of a little bit more chaotic rather than something that's controllable. So anyways, I believe I've gone on a little too long, but I think that is a great start to really focus on. Take the time to sit down and see what you're doing, where you want to go, and actually plan it out. Don't just throw all your energy at it and, hope it works out for you. But anyways, I hope you have a great week. I'll talk to you next week for the next video. You have any comments, concerns, questions, just want to say hi, go ahead and throw it down in the comments. Again, I appreciate everybody that's still been around, or anyone that's just now finding the channel. I hope I'm able to help you in your welding journey. If you're just learning, if you're getting into a career, or if you decide you're going to start your own business, I hope that you find a video that helps you out.